Hello, this is Edna Keep from White City, Saskatchewan, and another really good question I had just recently was, how do you negotiate, or when do you know to negotiate for cash back or vendor financing even? And you know what my answer to that is? Ask. Ask every single time, because if you don't ask, you have no chance of getting it. Just like Wayne Gretzky with his hockey says, if you never shoot the puck, you'll never score. So ask every single time. Every single time you're going into negotiate on a house or an apartment building, ask for some vendor financing. And some of the ways that you can do that is you might say, well, what are you planning on doing with the money when you sell your building? Like, are you going to retire? Like, you might not just want to come out and say, what are you going to do with the money? You might say, what are your plans now that you don't own this building? Are you going to retire? Are you going to move to Costa Rica? Like, what's your plans? And they'll usually tell you. They'll say, oh, my daughter just had a baby in Vancouver. We want to move there so we're closer to the baby. And so generally, if you get an answer like that, that's telling you that they don't always need that money. So another answer you might be looking for is, oh, I'll just put it in the bank. And your question could be to them, what would you earn in the bank? Maybe 1-2% on your money? Yeah, unfortunately, that's all we can get. You know, would you consider vendor financing? And of course, you'll have to explain to them what it is. Some vendors will know, some won't. And they might say, well, what is that? Just say, well, that's where you finance a part of your building to me. I'd be interested in paying 4-6% on something like that. It just means that I have to raise less money from my investors or take less money out of my own pocket to get that deal done. And you can still register a second mortgage against the property. You know you're going to get paid because you know that your building's cash flowing nicely already and that it can actually afford that. And that is how you get vendor financing. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind is, can you negotiate too much vendor financing? Yes, you can. Say your vendors are really willing, they would love to take the full $600,000 down payment and invest it with you at 6 or 8%. So that sounds pretty good at first glance, but the question would be, is can this property afford that? So be very careful when you're getting vendor takebacks that your building can afford it. And if you need any further tips with how you do that, please reach out to me at edna@multiplewaystowwealth.com.